I'm going to move around in here. Now I'll say a little bit more about scent or about wind direction. And we're always, like Sarah had mentioned on the last one, we're always usually setting in pairs when I'm with Wendy. Now, I prefer to let Wendy pick her spot first, because then I can work that downwind side. So if we have our predominant wind and you get those wind changes, I don't necessarily get too tied up in that, because your scent, if your wind blew this direction for quite a bit of time, all your scent molecules and stuff are going to be stuck in through here. It's no different than you're out in the fur shed all day and then you go run into somebody and they think they smell skunk, because even if you didn't touch it, it's just stuck on your clothes and those molecules are still with you. Skunk's very volatile, so that's why we're able to pick it up. But these canines are so much more sensitive. So even when this wind flips and now your primary scent trail is going that way, you still have other scent that's already all stuck all over the vegetation and on the ground, and that just doesn't go away or dissipate. All right, so, and you'll see a lot of that when they're working that circle and they're getting scent on the ground and they're getting scent in the air and they're trying to sort it out on what they want to do. So now this is primarily a good fox spot. I've never caught a coyote here. I don't know if anybody else may have every year's past caught coyotes here, but I've only ever caught reds here. I don't even think I've caught a gray here. So where these trails come down, what we're going to do is we're going to put a big hole set in here. Kind of what I consider a big hole. Anything more than just a couple inches where I want to make a mess. All right. This little bucket here, as cute as you all might think. I don't know why I get comments on my bucket all the time being cute. I guess it's just not big enough. Anyways, you fill this up with wax sand, all right? I go into everything when I'm out west. I start with wax sand right off the get-go. I don't even care if it's nice. I make enough during the summer. I need to put it in, and I do not want to mess with my sets for a long time, all right? And I want to be able to put it in, and I want to know that 2 weeks from now, I don't care if we got some snow, it melted off, or things change, that my set's probably still working. So I like to stay away from them. So what we're going to do is, we got a nice hole going into this bank, and I've dug it in kind of like this, all right? Not really down. I want that canine to have to get over here in the front and kind of get down in here and work his way right up in it to get up in there. And then I'm just going to bring that right out. Just about the width of my trap. This is me dumping in a little bit of wax sand. All I wear on the line is leather gloves. Now, also, out west, it's a lot drier, too. All right? If you're trying to do a lot of wet stuff here in the east, it doesn't take long to go through a pair of leather gloves. So I'll take that wax sand what's in there, and I just kind of ball it out, making myself a nice bowl. Like I want to catch my trap in a bowl. And I'll drive my stake down in here. I run a lot of 650s. The trap doesn't take a lot of wax sand to get it in, to bed it and to cover it. All right. Not saying it's only, there's a lot of good equipment out there nowadays, many different brands. This is an inside laminated one just because in New York we have to have them. So I always keep a few of them here just in case I do get a coyote ADC job that I got to go do. So I need a trap I can use here. If you can't bed a 650 trap, you can't bed any trap because they just go in so great with the double hold down on the jaws. So I kind of got it right in here center, right in that depression. I use wax papers. I get them, they're pre-made hamburger patties, so I don't have to cut them or mess around. You can buy like 1,000 of them on eBay for 17 bucks delivered to your door.
With the hamburger?
No hamburger included. You can't see what I'm doing. Come on over here, Owen. I'll get you right up in. All right. You see how that goes in?
Mm-hmm.
Like so. This is me dumping wax sand in again. Alright, just like so. I have it pre-sifted ahead of time. Sometimes I will just lay my trap right over and dump some in there like that and go like so from there. And we're going to take all this dirt we dumped out here. And we're going to just put a very light coating over the top of my wax sand. Just barely enough, just to even blend it in a little bit. I can probably even still see the wax sand. So I don't want to get crazy with it. We're going to pretend we got to keep going. There you go. Find your center. Make sure you're packed in good. Top it off. Okay. Now I'll leave this on the outside. All right. I'll leave my pile of dirt on my dirt holes here. All right. I know a lot of people take them and throw them away or toss them out or do whatever. I almost always have an outside blocking on my trap. All right, at my set. Now this one really narrows them down going into this big hole. But I always like to have that outside blocking. I kind of like to have that walk-through effect that occurs so I can get all feet involved. And also on dirt holes, all right, when you dig that hole down in the ground, all right, a canine can't see that hole from a few feet away because he's only this tall. So as soon as he gets away from the hole, he can't see it. But what they do see is a fresh dirt mound because it was dug out by something. So even if it's moles that are out here or gophers or something that push these mounds up, now he can see it from a long ways away because he looks over and now it's sticking above ground. All right, so you gain a little bit more of eye appeal out of that too. Bait and lure goes down in the hole. I also have a tendency of keeping a lot of wool. Usually have wool with me. I'll take a piece of that, throw down the hole with a little bait and lure and get it packed down in there. If you want, you can also cover it up with just some dry grass. Ball it up, put your bait or lure down in the hole, and just throw that in there. All right. It just creates a little more mystery down in there. I also like it too if I can see that it's been kicked out. All right, if that's been kicked out of here sometimes. I'll also tell me maybe a rodent or even something else got in there. Maybe it's time for me to re-lure, and then or it'll make me even look a little bit closer and say, man, did I have somebody just stand off to the side and just kind of reach in and snag that out on me? So, but I want him to have to work down in there to get it back. This set's kind of running down in a little bit, so it should shed a little bit of water as well. If we went much lower than this, you're going to start getting in some really wet ground. So that's why I kind of stayed on this side to make this set work for what the conditions were. Maybe it's not the perfect location, but it's the perfect location right now until the ground dries up. I could even tell in my trap bed just from that height difference there of dropping down here that I started to really get into some gooey mud.
It's dried up a lot since yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Yeah. Any questions? This time?